Welcome to another Forza Horizon 6 video. Today we are doing another round of the second trial. I only got to do another recording right before the next one comes out. We are about 1.5 hours out from season switching. So yeah, got it a bit close. I'm also trying out different audio settings and we are going to start with the CLK today. So yeah, in the end this isn't going to be an important episode, so I'm trying out some audio stuff. Saw that in the last episode it didn't sound great. I set it up a bit differently a few months back and left it as that since then. Didn't ever get any complaints, but when I listened to the last video it really wasn't great. So yeah, I had another thing in mind for the audio that I wanted to change, so trying both out at once now. Basically, I had my desktop audio meter for the microphone up to 100%, and from what I remember that doesn't necessarily always sound great in Discord. Was alright for my recordings, but yeah, I put that down to 60 because beyond that the operating system just applies a massive booster to the output, and yeah, then try to counterbalance it in my recordings thing, so we'll see if that works out. So yeah, just a few more races before the whole thing closes down and we get the next trial. I get this slight suspicion that it might be a cross-country trial. I hope that's not going to be the case. I mean, first one was rally, now we are doing street races, which is technically road racing. So if the next one is cross-country, I don't think I'll be getting much out of it except for the points and whatever other reward will be available. With this one I went in deep, I tried out all of the cars available for it and had a lot of fun. The next one might just be a one-time thing. Do it until I win and then just leave it. But I hope it's just gonna be sports cars or something, just something regular. Wouldn't mind another rally trial because that also was quite a lot of fun, but really depends on what they come up with. So, talking about the CLK GTR, usually too high up in the performance index for A-class racing, but an all-wheel drive swap brings it down quite a bit. The game is a bit stupid with how it handles those things. Basically, for some reason, all-wheel drive swapping a lot of cars messes up the final drive ratio. It really limits how much top speed it can have. That brings down the performance index, and all you need to do is install a transmission with variable final drive ratio, and you just bring it back up and it's gonna be much better than it should be. So while I'm glad that car settings for tuning doesn't affect the power index, I don't think stuff like this should be possible. We are going to win this, no need to worry. But yeah, here we go. And yeah, the Mercedes, in my opinion, is the best car. Technically, the Lotus can be a bit faster from what I've seen and from what I tested as well, but this is just a perfect all-rounder. It's not going to have the correct handling as Lotus, which makes it technically a bit quicker, especially during the technical sections, but it has an overall much better acceleration and just pulls through in every section. And of course on the faster parts it's just going to dominate as well. And yeah, of course, I'm also not the fastest guy, so I won't be winning any of these, I don't think. But in the end, the important part is that we win the trial. Just to get the last few people through who are still trying. I don't know if anybody really is still attempting to get the points at this point so late in the season. But, well, if they are, I hope I can help them pull through. But yeah, this is still less than 2 hours away from the next season. And by that I mean going into winter. I don't know how the whole thing is called in Horizon. There are the 4 seasons, and each season is, I think, a series or so. Whatever. I still don't like the whole term of festival playlist. In the end, this is a seasons program. But yeah, I've seen the guy in the Lotus also doing the one of the other trials that I attempted today. So they must also just be in for either the fun or to get some other people through. I've just been running different cars today. And yeah, when it comes to the last video, I knew I was tired and exhausted from just the heat and everything. I didn't quite realize just how done I've been through that time. So yeah, ideally I should have really not recorded there, but at that point, I don't know, I wanted to make a video on the trial, and it was either then or potentially not at all, so yeah. The heat wave was brutal. I mean, we had some subway car tech stuff. I mean, some of our subways, they go onto the street at some point, and they had some binding agent between the track and the regular road, and that melted away. We had the German train company tell people to please not use their trains if possible. Like, this wasn't just any oh shit, it's a bit warm kind of deal. This was a full-on breakdown of every system here. Oops. And here in Germany, we are absolutely not prepared to manage stuff like that. Like, houses here don't have any AC. I got some wet towels, I got a little fan, and that's just about it. I'm gonna try and focus on this a little bit. I mean, we are going to win this from what it looks like. I really gotta get better with all the carnage in the beginning. I'm just a bit too hesitant to really push through and get my place. So other people get in front much quicker than me. I just don't know how to do it. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for the first one. Nice and quick. I just saw one of the logos of the NPCs. Was that a burger eating another burger? But yeah, Team Blue wins. Quick and easy. So I think for the recommendations that I gave in the last video, even though nobody is going to see this video and then still do the same trial, that's pretty much out of the question. Let me just sign up for the next one. I'm going to do the Diablo and then the F355. But yeah, this thing, it's a beauty. And I'm glad that I could make this work in this subclass without needing the ugly Forza arrow. I wouldn't mind putting on the front lip, even though it's also not a good shape for this car. There's barely any splitter coming out at the front corners there. So that's kinda annoying, so yeah, I'm just sticking to the stock one. But the rear spoiler is just a straight up atrocity. But yeah, I've gotten used to the stock spoiler, so that one's alright with me by now. But man, I wish we just had the option to upgrade to a proper GT style spoiler. Not in the Forza Aero GT style, but in the what the spoiler of a racing version looked like. But besides that, I'm just in love with how sleek the car is. I've been having some issues with hay fever, so I hope it wasn't too loud. I muted myself after the first cough. But I might have to check the recording afterwards. But yeah, it's kind of fun now that we've come back down from 30 degrees plus, or even 32, something like that. Currently in my room, it's warm enough that if I was in school, this would be ending the school prematurely due to heat. And I'm feeling fine right now, just because I came down from a higher temperature instead of climbing up from something a bit more manageable. It's all about perspective. Alright, here we go again. Lots of Diablos as per usual. And this one is all-wheel drive swapped. I think about 80% of the power go to the rear wheels because I don't need them in the front. Makes the car much more nimble, but still good launch and everything. And very stable. Even stable against shit like that. Okay. But from what I've seen with my audio meter, I might have to adjust it a little bit again. I'll see how bad it is. If it's bearable, I'll just upload the episode. Otherwise, well, there is no chance for me to retake this. So the thing is, I could just go and try and win this. That doesn't do much for the championship though. So we're gonna do stuff like this. Always cut this corner here. Also gives us good momentum to push out somebody else. And keep an eye on the score in the top right, because I gotta do this until we are at least somewhat even. I could try slowing down the opponents, but with how spread out my comrades are, it doesn't really look like that will be a winning tactic here. Honestly, looking at how this is going, I think this race might be lost anyways. Okay, get in front at least, try to get a few more points. If I can slow them down a little bit. Fucking hell! What was that? Oh, I love getting stuck on geometry. That could have been still a win. We've taken 200 points from them, added them to our score, but nope. I don't know if I was even steering towards the guardrail there, I don't know. But yeah, lots of pushing in the end, and it just didn't really work out. Also, one minor thing I don't like about the game, it's subtle but kind of annoying. At the start and the end of the race, it just gets rid of the your interface. So at the very start of it, it takes a second or two until you can see your RPM meter, and at the end it also gets rid of all the overlays. So if you might need to upshift towards the end of the race, or have a car that has really good acceleration and needs an upshift very early on, you have to do that blindly. And that kinda sucks for a racing game. I know it's not a Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo, but come on. And yeah, it's not generally a problem in A-class, but the higher the classes go, the more of an issue it can be, especially with all-wheel drive in the beginning. And for the end, that can basically happen with any car, except maybe EVs for reasons. Okay, that's one car out of running. I mean, this one is going much better anyway, so I might just be able to focus on winning. So yeah, since I respec, added I switched off the engine, I think, to the second one. And yeah, of course, all-wheel drive, Forza Aero, all those parts. This thing hasn't been bad before, but now it's a total beast. I still like it quite well in higher classes like S1, etc. But it might also be worth just keeping it around like this for A-class racing. The brakes aren't always doing their thing though. But I think I would need to sacrifice a lot of PI to change that. And I don't know if I'm really limited on the braking power or if it's more the tires. I should maybe just turn on ABS. TCS seems to have a massive performance impact, just really slowing you down. But ABS, apparently even the pros leave it on. But yeah, when it comes to this car, there are definitely better tunes out there. I would say mine is pretty decent right now, but certainly not near the top. And that's another win. I mean, what? Not really another, that's the first win. And also a race win overall, which is the most important part. So we are going to the third track, which is one that I really quite like. And I hope we can take home a win there as well. Okay, everything finished here. I've also tried taking another look at how many tracks there are for the different modes. And honestly, with how many Toga and street races there are, I mean more street races than Toga because there's only 5 Toga routes on the map. I wish they had maybe gone more towards circuit racing for the festival race stuff. I don't mind sprints for rally, and I don't care about cross-country to begin with. But yeah, I think having a bit more of the other stuff there would have been nice. Just have a bit more variety and flexibility. Okay, here we go, third track. Now try and get in front. Okay, that guy took a ramp, that's nice. Maybe I can push one out wide. That was not great. Yeah, that sucked. I could have maybe let somebody else drive in front, but this was absolutely my mistake. Like, let another AI overtake and then take that one out. But I wasn't really close enough to get to the other guy, where it was complete misjudgment on my part. So let's see if I can at least catch up again. We got one AI in front of us that took itself out by missing a checkpoint. So we are at least getting some points here, but this is nowhere near enough, of course. I mean, I should be able to get at least 2 positions now on the straight here. It would be 400 points difference. That is not quite enough, but we got other people as well. Maybe one of my teammates left and that took out some points for the opponents. Come on, dude, hold it together. I think that guy may have missed the finish line there, yep. So the other 2 AI slipped past the other guy, and that's how we ended up not winning after all. Close match, quite interesting, but not a win in the end. Well, what can you do? I still wish we had something like this in single player, just some interesting championships. Because there is not a single race otherwise that I put in nearly as much time as with this one. And it's not just because it's a trial, it's a nice little championship, has an interesting car theme and power restriction. And single player has none of that. We get potentially some of it every week, but then it's also being removed again. So, come on. The base game could definitely do with a bit more stuff like this. And I think they could have maybe even gone a slightly different route with their unlocks. As it is right now, I think you need the first or second wristband in order to participate in the playlist. But you need to get the last one in order to be part of a trial. I think you can maybe start a convoy with somebody who isn't on Legend Island yet, who doesn't have the final wristband, and then they can still participate in the trial as long as you have Legend status and can start it. But I think that's maybe too much of a restriction. The last one is going to be the Berlinetta. And that's gonna be it for me today. Maybe I'll try to be a bit quicker when it comes to the next trial. Just getting one car figured out and maybe even doing some of the early runs. I think trying out every car and getting a deeper understanding of the restrictions is an interesting idea. But in the end, well, if a trial sticks around for a week and it takes me half a week to make that video, it's just not ideal. Okay, quite a few different cars here. I love the police Diablo. Let's see how they are on track. Okay. Starting in second place, so that should be alright. Still first row for the player cars. But yeah, I didn't orbital drive swap this one, so the start is maybe a bit rougher. Okay, just gonna let everything in front of me unfold. But yeah, this thing is a powerhouse. Only supercar starting in B class. Nice try, jackass. Yeah, this thing has a lot of tuning potential. And as per usual, just gonna go mostly on power. Maybe get some wider tires, but still stock tire compound and everything. Okay, that dude looks like he just missed the checkpoint. So we are once again not doing well in the first race. And yeah, I gotta try to take out somebody here. And potentially I should fall back and get the guy in third. I'm gonna try to get up to first instead. get the good line across the street. It is on the other side of the road, really. Yeah, the others are way back. Maybe if I fell back and managed to rein in some of those NPCs, we might have a higher score, but not entirely sure. Also, just 3 people immediately disconnected. So yeah, we are doing this with 3 people now. At least each one of them took over one of the NPCs, so it's not all bad. I mean, that guy may have missed a checkpoint as well, so who knows. But yeah, I think some people might be getting a bit desperate for trying to still win the tile 1 hour before it's gone. I mean, it's 10 points in the standing, so you're gonna want those, if possible. But yeah, I heard that others are once again quite frustrated with how the tiles can work out. I had an overall pretty decent experience. At least so far. I don't like that track though, so that's playing into it, but apart from that, a few idiots who can't even brake for a corner, but mostly it's been alright. Well, and now we are winning. If we can take that to the 3rd race, then we should be good here. But yeah, this part of the docks is just annoying as hell. A stupid zigzag with the same corner just repeated over and over. What a fun layout. Okay. Finally free of some of those guys. My time to shine will definitely be after the next set of corners, once we leave the dock area. I mean, this one is at least original. Oh, that guy went off track a little bit. So yeah, that's a pretty good end result, I would say. And that's the fun thing with overall scoring. If you lose a teammate, it doesn't necessarily make the thing worse for you. Depends on who you lose. If you get rid of the guy who's always been in front, that might not be that great. But if you got a backmarker who would rather try their luck in the next attempt, that can even help out the team. And once again, as long as the people don't get in the way of each other, I don't mind pulling some people through. But yeah, like in the first race, if you break it when somebody slides by right in front of you who would have hit you if you were just a little bit faster. Fuck having to deal with that. Okay, police car going for the jump. Still getting the checkpoint, that's important. And somebody is not taking the bridge there. I mean, no need to even bully the NPCs, they are out of competition right here. And we shouldn't go into first gear with this car. Doesn't make things much easier accelerating out of the corner. If I can get to the leader, we might be able to do this as don't know how many points to 0. Okay, that's us being done with the technical part. Now it's just a sprint to the finish line. Second, third and fourth is still a really good result here. Or first, third and fourth. And that's it. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And well, see you guys next time, likely for the next trial. There isn't really all that much to do for me in this game right now. So yeah, I'm mostly dealing with the trials and doing some tech stuff on the side. But yeah, we'll see how this goes on. There's also the potential that we might see a first expansion sooner than later, and God, would I like more text to play on. But yeah, until any of that comes out, we'll just wait and see, do the festival stuff, and that's just about it. Anyways, until next time, have a good one, and bye bye.